Hey guys, Holly here again with another car video, and today I want to talk about the Saltwater Cleanse, aka Saltwater Flush. So I recently found out about this and I heard about it on YouTube. I came across a video and I was like, what the heck is this? So I kind of want to talk a little bit about it. And so ultimately the idea of the Saltwater Flush is it's this cleanse that you do, and it's supposed to really flush you out and help you remove a lot of waste and even lose a lot of weight and a lot of bloating. So basically the idea is you're supposed to wake up on an empty stomach. You're supposed to drink 2 pints or 4 cups, which is like a quart, 4 cups of warm water with pink Himalayan sea salt, preferably, or regular sea salt or kosher salt, whatever. And I want to say it's like, I think it's 3 tablespoons of salt. I'm not sure. It could be a little bit more. But anyways, don't hold me to that. You can do your own research and find out the exact amount. But yeah, so it's like, and then you're supposed to, it's basically like salty water. Okay, so you drink this warm salt water. And for me, I'm actually already used to that because I drink a glass of water every day that has a tad bit of baking soda and a tad bit of pink Himalayan sea salt. Now, the reason that I do this is because it helps to replenish your electrolytes. So I'll put a little bit of sea salt, pink salt, and baking soda in the water, and I drink a glass of that every day. So I'm kind of used to doing this anyway, but I'm going to tell you about my experience. So first off, I watched a few of these videos and I thought to myself, that is an awful lot. Some people had thrown up doing this. Some people had like explosive diarrhea, TMI. If you have a really sensitive stomach, you might not want to continue with this video. But anyhow, so a lot of people kind of really didn't have a very good experience, but a lot of people did lose quite a bit of weight. People were losing 5 to 10 pounds in basically like one day. So initially when I heard about this and I read about it, I came to the conclusion that I felt like a quart of salty water was too extensive. So what I chose to do to experiment with this is I chose to start small and kind of work my way up and see what happened. So the first day I tried this, I woke up and on an empty stomach I took 1 cup, a little over 1 cup of salty water. So I would say about 9 or 10 ounces of this warm salty water. So I did that, and I guess within about 10 minutes I had to go to the bathroom pretty bad, so I went. So I had a bowel movement, and it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like straight diarrhea. It was kind of on the runny side, but it wasn't horrible. So I did that, and I ended up having about, I guess it was just about 2 to 3 bowel movements that morning, and then within about an hour and a half, I wasn't really feeling it anymore. I am also the type of person that is used to doing cleanses and used to doing detoxes and things like this. So I guess you could say I'm kind of a seasoned person when it comes to doing stuff like this. So for somebody that's never done something like this, or someone that might have a whole lot more toxicity in their system, I think you would need to start smaller than that. Like I would say half a cup or a third of a cup. So the next day I did, I'm trying to think how much I did. I skipped the next day, and the day after that I did a cup and a half. So when I did a cup and a half, it was basically the same thing. It wasn't really much different than the first time. So the third time I tried it, which was, I think it was yesterday, I did 2 cups, so 16 ounces. Now this was definitely my breaking point, because when I took the 2 cups of the warm salty water, I drank it, and pretty much immediately I started feeling pretty sick. I got a headache, and I felt like I was gonna throw up. Fortunately, I didn't, but I got pretty close to feeling like I really might actually throw up, and I didn't like this at all. I felt like that was not healthy. So for me, 2 cups is too much. And so then I see all these people on YouTube actually doing the 4 cups, and I'm like, this is just a really bad idea in my opinion. You know, like, why would somebody do this? I mean, it's no wonder these people are throwing up and making themselves sick. It's basically that's what you're doing when you're taking 4 cups of salty water. You're making yourself sick. So I'm not saying this can't work. I think there's actually some science behind this, and I can see how potentially this might be actually a good idea to do in a much smaller amount. So then again, today I try to do a half cup, and I even experienced quite a bit of result by using a half cup of this salty water solution first thing in the morning. Warm salty water solution on an empty stomach. So I come to the conclusion it does work, in my opinion, but in my opinion, I also believe it's not the greatest idea for someone that's not super used to cleansing, someone that maybe hasn't cleansed in a very long time or never has. I think it could make a person like that really sick. I also think this is something that could even send people to the hospital if they weren't careful, if they did too much. So I don't know if any of you have heard about the saltwater flush or thought about it, but like I say, it was something I wanted to try. I like to try new things, and so I felt like I did the right thing by starting small, because unfortunately I have had a lot of experiences in my life where I have overdone it on the detoxing and overdone it to the extent that excuse me, that it did make me sick. So that's why I did that, and I'm really glad that I did. So yeah, so I think if 2 cups of this is going to make me really sick, with all the cleansing and detoxing that I've done in my life, make me feel like I'm going to be really sick, then I don't think the average person should do this by any means. Even someone that cleanses more than I do and someone that's more seasoned than I do, I don't think they should be doing this with the 4 cups. I think honestly, just 1 cup or even half. But like I say, this is just my opinion. And I wanted to share it because, I mean, it's just an experience that I had. And I feel like a lot of people look into stuff like this and might be interested in trying it. And I feel like if you are, you know, just do your research and watch some of these videos. And, you know, if you don't want to throw up and you don't want to have explosive diarrhea and make yourself sick, and basically this would probably keep you down for at least a day, if not more than that, in my opinion, if you did the whole 4 cups. You got to be careful about this stuff, because you can give yourself a really severe electrolyte imbalance, which can also happen when you get really sick, like if you were to get like food poisoning. So yeah, to make a long story short, I just really think that if you're gonna do it, I think it can be beneficial on occasion, only if you do it moderately and make sure that you are taking precaution and doing your research, just like with anything else, but especially when it comes to cleansing. So naturally, when I heard about the saltwater cleanse, I really wanted to try it, and I did. And to make a long story short, this is my experience. So I do hope that it helps, and I hope that this can prevent somebody from having a really bad experience with the saltwater flush. So yeah, and with that being said, like I've said before, you also want to be really careful, because when you are cleansing and flushing your system and detoxing, you also have to take into consideration that you also can flush out a lot of your good bacteria, and I've said this before, and when you do that, it can interfere with a lot of bodily functions, in particularly your immune system as well. And especially right now during a pandemic, you really don't want to have an impaired immune system. So there was one point in my life where I did so much cleansing and so much colon hydrotherapy that I literally flushed out a good part of my immune system, and I got really, really sick. I kept getting sick over and over for like 3 or 4 months after that. It was just so bad and so intense. So I had a client at the time that was a doctor, pretty near retirement, but he'd been a doctor for so many years, and he told me he really believed that was what was going on with me, and he did not recommend doing colon hydrotherapy. So like I say, it's different for everyone, but I do feel that you really have to be careful with your detoxing. So, and a lot of people will say, even some doctors will tell you, oh, the body cleans itself, the body detoxes itself, you don't need to worry about it, you don't need to do a cleanse, this and that. So, it is my personal opinion, now I'm not a doctor, but it's my personal opinion that I think we need to give the body a little nudge here and there. I think sometimes you do need a detox, no matter how healthy you eat, no matter what. I think it's important that you do some kind of cleansing every now and then, because if you don't, your body's just going to build up so much sludge. We live in a very toxic environment, no matter where you live. Our air, our water, our food, everything is at least a little bit contaminated. Yes, your body is programmed to clean itself, but in the same point, the day and age that we live in, we have to help it out. We have to help our bodies. So that's just my opinion. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.